Hello everybody! About last year this time, September 2024, I have done the very first multi-speaker 2-channel, and I was starting at a 4-speaker with no subwoofer and then a 6-speaker with no subwoofer. And when I have the 6-speaker in the other room, what I call the coat room with all the jackets and coats and suits on the wall, that's actually downstairs. I did a video and show everybody how I did it. You can call it a how-to, but I'm just showing you what I did. So after a whole year, we have many people have tried it, with good result, and there's actually many more want to know how we did it. And so I thought that I'm going to use my second system here. This is my second system. I call it a hallway space because this is not actually a room, it's a hallway. So I am going to use this system to tell you what I did in this system. This is an 8.5. So it's 8 speaker and 5 subwoofer. So I'm going to go through the 8 first. The 5 is not a secondary, but it's related to the 8, but it's kind of is a subwoofer, is the other part of the system, but it's the integral system altogether. So what you're looking at is more or less the same spot that I am sitting. It's only about 6 inches behind the listening chair, just 3-4 inches off to this side. My tripod's not long enough to actually stretch this, and I'm too lazy to move any cable because I don't want to move anything. So I'm going to move out of the camera so you can see what the listening chair is right here, what the listener is actually seeing, and then I'm going to take the camera off and describe each one. I need my pointer. Okay, so here you are. Okay, let's see. I'm seeing what you're seeing. First of all, never mind that tripod, because that tripod is going. I set up that tripod for showing you the diagram that's actually on the floor right now. So let's go through a little bit of speaker first. So I have the Aerial 5 here, and here as what we call it main stage front. That's the main speaker. It's not necessarily the biggest, but it's the main speaker. That's where it all started. And then we have another pair of speaker behind the main stage front. I am using the Eminent Technology LFT-8B, which is a dipole speaker, as the main stage rear. That's what we call them. And I am going to take the camera off now. So I will be careful about my wires, and I'm going to show you the other speaker. Let me see. Let's not get caught up in here. Did I get caught up on this? Okay, got the wire off from the chair. Taking the tripod off so it'll be shaky. So this is a listening chair. You can see a chair right here. This is where I see, and I'm going to go turn this way. So we have a side speaker. This is the opera speaker. That's a left channel side, and the right channel side speaker right here. Now I just want to emphasize that this is actually a traditional 2-channel stereo system with no DSP, absolutely no DSP or analog. So keep that in mind. There's no DSP, and then I'm going to turn the other way around to the back. This is a JM Renault Concorde. I am using that as a audience speaker, which is a rear channel behind the listening chair. Not that much behind. I find the key is the listening position and the audience channel. The distance between them is actually less than the distance between the listening chair and the main stage front. That's the key that I find that's important. And now I'm going to turn this around. I'm standing right in front of the left channel audience speaker. This is the another JM Renault Concorde. So I'm going to turn this back to here, and I will explain every speaker. That's some of them are out of phase, some of them are in phase. The reference is the main stage front, and some of them is out of phase of the main stage front. Some of them are in phase of main stage front. So these are the 8 speaker. Now let's go to subwoofer. Subwoofer, of course, subwoofer is optional, but I have added up to 5 subwoofers so far. So I'm going to walk to the front, because you gotta see, this is a stack of amp, this is a crossover, this is active crossover, 100 watts times 2 class D and 150 watts times 1. Bear with me, and then you will see that's a modified Paradigm 9SE. When I bought it, it's actually kind of poop already. So the tweeter is gone, and one of the woofers gone is replaced. So I took the tweeter out and used it as a mid woofer, not a true subwoofer, the mid woofer. So there's one on this side on the right channel, and then the other ones on this side for the left channel. They are crossed as 250 Hz and downwards. So they are kind of like a mid-low woofer, not a true subwoofer. Now this one up here is a 10-inch passive subwoofer with a 10-inch radiator, and driven by the 150 watts times 1 subwoofer amp. And this crossover has a stereo input left and right, and then also a combined subwoofer, single subwoofer output. So it's driving that amp down there. And this 100 watt class D amp is crossed at 250 watt, driving the Paradigm 9SE. And this is the setup behind the front stage rear speaker. Okay, I'm going to go through some of the amps for the speaker. So this is the AM210. Just bear with me with the number. We have other video to explain what they are. They are all of my design, but they don't have power supply, and I will explain that later. And this AM210 is driving the Ambient Technology LST-HB, same as the other channel, so I will not go through that again. So I'm going to back up. And the Aerial 5 is driven by a AM205. Again, there's no power supply there, and bear with me on that. Okay, keep backing up, and I have the side channel. It's driven by this amp. This is the AM200. Now the AM210 is 130 watts, AM205 is 80 watts, and AM200 is a 45 watt amp. So I am going to turn around now. Turn around and go back. For the audience channels are driven by this pair of music pumps, which is a AM205 80 watt per channel amp driving the audience speaker. And then I have a 15-inch, I call it dog breakfast subwoofer, because when I got it, it was a package of a dog breakfast speaker. This is part of the package with the Paradigm 9SE, and they were in really bad shape. So my friend Jason that helped me and just nicknamed the whole package as dog breakfast package, and I thought that was kind of cute. Anyway, so 15-inch subwoofer. Somebody called it a washing machine subwoofer, which is kind of like a washing machine too. And driven by a 500 watts subwoofer plate amp here. And then I have the 5th subwoofer. This is a 10-inch. Used to be a Klipsch subwoofer, but the driver's gone, the amp's gone, so I just reusing the cabinet, so I cannot call it a Klipsch subwoofer anymore. So I replaced the 10-inch driver, and then it is driven by a 75 watts subwoofer plate amp. So all of them has built-in crossover. Now back to the 8 speaker, the AM205 and AM200 another AM205 and AM210. This is the left channel front stage front. This is the main speaker. This is driven by the AM205. And the reason they don't have power supply because it is driven by the central power supply running in ISS mode, integrated, not International Space System, okay? It's ISS in this case stand for Integrated Separate System. It's the electrically is integrated amp, but physically separate, like a preeminent power amp. So taking advantage of both. So this is the power supply for all 8 speakers. So this power supply is a 1200 watt power supply driving 8 channel, not the subwoofer, but driving all 8 channel. Okay, so this is the concept of having a centralized power supply to driving all 8 channel instead of having power supply and multiple channel inside one chassis and running long speaker cable. I am actually running very short speaker cable and long interconnect. It's a much better way to run because lot less current, lot lower current in a small signal. So the material of the cable is a lot less and a lot less lost. When you're running small signal on long run, is a lot less lost than running high current, high power, quote unquote relatively high power in a speaker level and running long cable, because you're gonna have lot of loss and a lot less control. Because when you're running small signal, line level signal, you can have a lot more control. That's one of the reasons active crossover has advantage over passive. But it also depends on application. Now I'm going to go to this drawing, to show you how all hooked up, so you have some idea what it is. So I am going to put the camera on this tripod, click into it, and I am going to turn on a big flashlight to add some light to it so you can see. I still need my pointer. Okay. This room is not designed for taking videos, so you gotta bear with me. The light is not ideal. So I have 2 lights, and those flashlights are not reliable. So I gotta have 2 just in case that one doesn't work. And okay, let me see. I can do this and hold the mic and turn on the flashlight. Let's turn on. Okay, that's bright enough. I think it's bright enough. And I'm gonna hold this. Can I hold this? Yes, I can hold the flashlight and the mic together. I dropped the mic. I dropped my pointer too. Okay, let's try this again. So here is a listening chair. You looking towards the front. You get a stair. Well, I didn't show you the stair, but there's a stair. And this is the power supply. That's the centralized power supply. And the main speaker, which we call a front stage front, is the Aerial 5 here, and driven by AM205, which is an 80 watts AM module. AM stands for AM module. So that's what AM stands for. Without any power supply, it has capacitance, but no transformer, no rectifier. And the advantage is you basically having every amps have a separate power supply for low noise, and because the AM module are so close to each speaker, you almost getting like an active speaker. Having advantage of an active speaker, but also having advantage of a separate power supply. So the best of both worlds. And I'm going to tell you one more thing too, is because of the separate power supplies are so far away, you basically get no noise from the transformer. There's always some noise, but it's very, very, very little. It's not the same as having a transformer inside a speaker. That would be comparably very bad in terms of noise. But you have less box, you get relatively okay performance compared to what I'm doing here. it's a lot more wire than what I'm doing, but if you want ultimate performance and can live with a little bit more wire around, then I believe my way is better than the other way. So anyway, the ET, the eminent technology, LFT-HB, is driven by AM210, and back behind the eminent technology is the Paradigm 9 SE. I call it a mid woofer or just woofer, not a subwoofer. And this is all three pairs are in phase against the along with the front stage front. So this is 0 degree, 0 degree, and 0 degree. Now the passive subwoofer up here, which is all the way to the front, like 6 feet high, is actually 180 degree out of phase. And the side channel, there's two side channels, two side speakers are also out of phase, 180 degree out of phase. And the audience speaker, the rear two channels, are also 180 degree out of phase. And these 15-inch stock breakfast subwoofers are in phase with the front stage front speaker. And then the not so much about clip subs, but it's a clip subwoofer cabinet. 10-inch subwoofer is 180 degree out of phase compared to the front stage front. And this is the left channel, and this is the right channel, and it's only two channels. This is a traditional stereo setup with no DSP. Now, every single amps have its own volume control, so you have to use individual amp for individual speaker. You cannot use one amp and drive all speaker. That doesn't work, because you have to adjust individual speaker to suit the setup, and you have to sit down and do a little bit of listening. Or if you have a dealer, one of my dealers that actually set it up for you, and they will do it for you, but you still have final say of how it sounds. And we can probably do it like 95%, and it will sound pretty darn good. But if you want to have ultimate adjustment, you can do it, but there's no wrong. There's no wrongdoing. I have to admit, I like a little bit of more fat mid bass, somewhere around 100 Hz and 150 Hz. So that's why I get this Paradigm 9 SE with only the woofer hookup, and I can actually turn it up to fill the room. I never measure the room. I would not bother to measure the room, because I don't care how accurate and not accurate it is, because as long as it sounds good to my ears, that's good. Very good. Accurate is not something that I'm aiming for. There is no accurate in home setup, home audio, because if you have accuracy, then you have to compare something as a reference. And when you listening to recorded music, there is no accuracy. Just for example, you will almost never hear the same way the piano sounds between a live piano, a concert grand, and a recorded concert grand at your home. Because first of all, the first thing they do is stick two mics inside the concert grand, and basically your head is actually inside the concert grand when you're listening at home. So when you listen to live performance, you don't stick your head inside the concert grand. So it's going to be totally sound different. So there is no accuracy to talk about when you come to home audio. So as long as it sounds good to me, it's very good. It's not just good enough, it's very good. And sometimes I like to turn up the little bit fat bass, and sometimes I turn down a little bit fat bass. Sometimes I turn up a little bit mid. But right now in this system, once I set, I'm pretty good at 98.99%. I don't bother to turn up and down, except, well, in the last 6 months, I have a couple of recordings that the stand-up bass is a little bit too much. I turn it down a little bit. But other than that, I don't have any issue at all. So another benefit about this system we have found over the year is room acoustic has very minimal effect to a multiple speaker setup. It just you can see it. You can rewind the video and backtrack to the front. to the earlier part of this video and see how bare the walls are. I don't have any much room treatment in this wall. It's mostly drywall. 75 to 80% are drywall. I have a couple pieces of foam in front of the between the main front stage front and front stage rear speaker, and otherwise they're all drywall. And the sound is extremely good. It sounds very much like a well treated room. And on one side of on my left side of my listening chair is a complete open space. And in fact, when we're done with this video, when we're done with this drawing, I'm gonna leave that out so you can actually pause and look at the video and get some reference about the room size. The length of the room is about 25 feet, and the width is only 11.6. 11.5 actually. It's 11 feet 6 inches, so it's 11.5 feet. And the front walls are pretty bad. It's pretty uneven. So I'm going to put the pointer down, turn off the light, take the camera off the tripod, and I'm going to show you the room again so you get some reference point how poor the rooms actually is. Okay, this is front wall. Look at this front wall. Let me pick up the pointer again. So this is a stairway. This is a staircase going down the basement. Empty space. This is actually my washroom. It's going to there. Well, it's kind of empty space too. And this is solid drywall, and this is foam. Almost everybody that came into this room they thought it can't sound any good. But as soon as they sat down, 10 seconds in, they know the difference. So you look at this, it's all bare drywall. I do have a winter coat here for a little bit of damping, and to the right, bare drywall, foam, bare drywall, and basically bare drywall, and there's a high ceiling up there, and this ceiling, this one, is only 6 feet, 6 feet 5 inches. 6 feet 5 inches high. And I'm going to turn around and let you see the big open space, as long as I don't get caught on that wire on the floor. This is the big open space to my closet. That's how, and this is a listening chair. That's how rather poor the layout and the acoustic. And then you look at the back. Big bare metal doors. No treatment. But anybody that sat down in 10 seconds, they know is not what it looks like. Now, I don't blame you saying that I am telling a tall tales about this setup and how good this room sounds. But if you have a chance to try it yourself, okay, back on the tripod. If you have a chance to try it yourself, you will likely agree with me. With a proper setup, with multiple speakers, your room treatment is not that important anymore. Now, I'm not saying that you don't need walls. You do need walls, but a bare drywall is okay. If you treat it, it might sound better, but if you don't, it's not a big deal. And that's another advantage of using multiple speaker. And I've known that many people have done multiple woofer, but I'm basically doing the same thing with multiple speaker. But when I first did it, it wasn't because I want to actually do what I have achieved so far. But when I first did it a year and a half ago, it was because I got so many speakers in my collections. It's up to about 82, 83 now. And I use multiple speaker and to test multiple amp in the workshop. So I'm running multiple speaker, and my speaker doesn't just stack up on the front wall. It's actually staggered like 2, 3, 4, 5 feet this way. And then I start to hear there's a difference. The sound stage is deeper, and it's actually have height. So that's how I started, and I don't know why nobody do it this way. And then I start thinking about it. And I figured out one reason. There might be more, but that's one reason. The reason that nobody do it or nobody want to promote this is because, guess what? Manufacturer cannot make money of it. Because you can actually use all the traditional 2-channel stereo equipment, wide jacks here, a little bit volume control there, and then you have it. You don't need to buy new stuff, and they cannot sell you new encoding. They cannot sell you new software. Now after a year, I have been selling adapter box for people to use, and they can actually hook it up to their existing system. But recently, several people have suggesting, why don't I just make product that actually suit the setup? It's not that easy. All the existing product that I have can use for this setup. But then I'm finding out that more people actually just say, well, I want this setup at home. Where do I start? So, okay, I'm not going to ask you to use your existing equipment because not everybody have that many pieces of speaker and amps in their collections, or somebody they don't have any collection. So they ask the question, a very legitimate question, is saying, where do I start? So George and On-Track Audio and I have started talking about it. We must actually start putting a package together so you have some idea where to start. Of course, the package have different level package. We can do a 6 speaker, and we recommend at least doing 6. But if you don't have room behind your listening chair, 4 you can actually hear the effect. You can start to hear the effect. But 6 is what I personally recommend, and then we can do 8, and George actually up to 10. Of course, subwoofer is optional. It's easier to buy just active subwoofer and add into it later. But the main speaker, the main 6 or the main 8, is the one that we can put a package together and help you set up. And I suppose we can do it in the GTA, Toronto GTA area for now, and because we actually have to physically go in there and set it up for you. But eventually, if more of my dealers get on board on this, and we can actually do a little bit more in a wider area. But until then, I can help you online. I can help you online of using your existing equipment, and to be honest, the people who actually done it doesn't need my help. They just watch my video and they get it done and tell me they get good results. So I am willing to help you, but at the same time, you have to be not afraid to fail, and you have to prepare to hear bad sound and then work on it. And if you hear bad sound, just, you can actually post a question in my fan club on Facebook to ask the question, then I'll help you. As Facebook is actually easier to help you than YouTube, because YouTube not allowed to put pictures on the comments, put picture on the reply. But I can do picture on the Facebook and help you doing what you need to do. So I think I talked long enough. It's 15 minutes long already. So until next time, this is my setup. This is what I call hallway space. It's not a room. And many people just call it an orange room because of orange in the wall. So I call it a hallway space. And I have proven the multi-speaker 2-channel can actually sound really, really, really good in rather non-ideal situation, non-ideal room. But okay, I'm not going to repeat myself. I didn't even talk about the front end, but the front end is completely different and it's a different story. So until next time, stay safe. Bye. Okay, let me reach out over there and shut the camera off.